Welcome guys, so today we're doing a bit more sealed. This is traditional sealed, which means you play best of 3 games. So I think it's I think it's worth playing this instead of best of 1. I think I like alternating between the two really. So yeah, we'll have a go at this and see how we get on. So the difference is you get to sideboard after game 1. So that might make some of your deck choices a little bit different. Okay, we'll have a look at our rares. Okay, we've got a couple of blue rares here. Look at these first. Encroaching Microsynth, 4 mana artifact. Non-land permanents you control are artifacts in addition to their other types. The same is true for permanent spells you control and non-land permanent cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. Okay, that sounds like a combo card. Probably not going to be useful in limited. Let's have a look at this other blue card. Tekuthel, Inquiry Dominus, 2 blue and 2 for a 3/5 flying. If you would proliferate twice instead. That's pretty good. And then for 2 Phyrexian blue and 1, remove 3 counters from among other artifacts, creatures, and planeswalkers you control. Put an indestructible counter on Tekuthel, Inquiry Dominus. Okay, so I have seen a couple of the other Phyrexian horrors with the similar active ability where they pay some cost and they get an indestructible counter. The red one, Solifim, you have to discard 2 cards to get the indestructible counter. So that's definitely going to be quite powerful. Some decks are going to really struggle with an indestructible counter, so I played against a red-green deck, and they had to concede when I made my Solifim indestructible. So, but there are other decks that have exile effects, usually black and white. And blue decks can bounce things back to your hand, so it's not necessarily going to beat everything. But I think in limited, this could be pretty good. But let's go up. Well, actually, let's look at this land here. The Mycosynth Gardens. It's a sphere land. Add 1 colorless, and then for 1 mana and tap, add 1 mana of any color. X and tap. The Mycosynth Gardens becomes a copy of target non-token artifact you control with mana value X. Well, that's very interesting. Okay, it can copy an artifact. It'll be a tapped version of that artifact, but it doesn't say until end of turn, so it'll be that artifact forever. It'll untap. So that is interesting. And it's a mana fixing land. You've got to pay the mana fixing tax. You're tapping 1 mana and this to make 1 mana of any color, but that's still pretty useful in limited, I would say. And then you can see we've got a red rare, another red rare, and a red-white planeswalker. Nihiri the Unforgiving. She's also completed. Okay. So white, red, then a white-red Phyrexian mana, and then 1. So 4 mana in total. Comes into play with 5 loyalty counters. I guess, and that's okay. Yes, if you do pay 2 life for the Phyrexian mana, this planeswalker enters with 2 fewer loyalty counters. So for 3 mana, this is a 3 loyalty Planeswalker. So the +1 until your next turn, up to one target creature attacks a player each combat if able. Until your next turn. You can force a creature to attack you. So that, if you've got a decent board, that can be like a removal spell. But if you're losing the game anyway, that doesn't change anything. Everything's going to be attacking you anyway. You also have +1, discard a card, then draw a card. So, yeah, looting. You basically pitch an extra land, draw a card. And then the 0, exile target creature or equipment card with mana value less than Nahiri's loyalty from your graveyard. So a creature or an equipment card. It has to be mana value less than loyalty. So not less than or equal. Create a token that's a copy of it. That token gains haste. Exile it at the beginning of the next end step. Oh, that was almost really broken and really powerful. So unfortunately you have to exile it. So yeah, you can get a token copy of a creature with haste and throw it at your opponent. Get the end to the board thing again. And or you can get an equipment card. So with the red-white deck here, you've got the 4 mirrored in keyword, which makes a token creature. So you can play your equipment. The equipment will exile in the end step, but you'll still get you'll get to keep the token creature, I suppose. I don't think that this is particularly amazing or anything. I don't think I have to play this card at all. But it's nice enough. We have Urabrask's Forge for 3 mana, artifact. At the beginning of combat on your turn, put an oil counter on Urabrask's Forge. Then create an X1 red Phyrexian Horror creature token with trample and haste, where X is the number of oil counters on Urabrask's Forge. Sacrifice that token at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, I quite like this. So this is a creature maker. The creature it has haste, and then you've got to sacrifice it. So this is good for sacrifice strategies. It's moderately aggressive as well. It gets bigger and bigger as the game goes on. It adds quite a bit of pressure to your opponent. That's quite reasonable, I think. And then we have Capricious Hellraiser, so 3 red and 3. Phyrexian Dragon. 4/4, flying. Costs 3 less to cast if you have 9 or more cards in your graveyard. So you could get it for triple red. When Capricious Hellraiser enters the battlefield, exile 3 cards at random from your graveyard. Choose a non-creature, non-land card from among them and copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Alright, so it has to be a non-creature, non-land card. So it's not just instant or sorcery, it could be artifact, enchantment. And you get to cast it for free as an enter the battlefield effect. Or it could be a planeswalker. It could fetch Nahiri from the graveyard, if you're lucky, because it is exile 3 cards at random. There's quite a bit of luck involved here. Still, 4/4 flyer in limited is pretty good. Right, so I mean that's interesting. That's interesting. That's sort of an alright planeswalker. Maybe Tekothal is the best one here because you can make it indestructible, and that's just going to beat some decks that'll have no answer to indestructible. So you'll have this 3/5 flying blocker they can't deal with. Sometimes will be enough to win. And this interesting land. as well, which can become a copy of a non-token artifact, could copy Urabrask's Forge, and that would be quite useful to have a couple of creatures being generated each turn. And this works with oil counters, so we've got ways of putting extra oil counters on this that could be quite good as well. This just makes everything an artifact, so it's got combo potential. Okay. Right, we'll just have a little look at our cards here. I think I'm going to do a bit of a keyword search. I think that should work. That should show us toxic or poison cards. So I played the Phantom Sealed and I played a regular best of one sealed event with this, and both times the Orzhov Toxic deck seemed like a really good one to go for. It just had the most synergy. Just the sheer number of cards with toxic and poison seemed to make it worthwhile playing. And it was quite low to the ground and had some evasion. And I've tried a red-green oil deck as well so far. I think it's these search it struggles with these search terms. It seems to load for quite a while. So we'll just call it end of part 1 there, and hopefully we'll come back and this is finished loading. Thanks for watching so far. And we're back. So it has found the toxic and poison cards. So if we count them up, actually, because it's got what I'm interested in is the number of cards that can apply poison counters. So in white, we've got 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, there's 5 in white, and in black we have 3, 4. Yeah, just 4 in black. We've got a green-white toxic creature and 3 Tyrranax Atrocities. So if we go green, we've got access to 4 more. In blue-black, we've got 1. And the artifacts, we've got 2. So I think it's probably just about viable to go for a poison strategy. But I think I'd like a few more poison cards, to be honest. So I'm not convinced about that. Now I took the liberty of just going through and searching for a few other keywords, and I think we're actually pretty strong on the proliferate keyword. So we could go for a hybrid strategy here. We can go for poison and oil tokens as well, and maybe play blue-black, because we have quite a nice blue-black card that goes well with toxic. So it's a 2/1 flyer for 2 with toxic 1, and it comes back from the graveyard to your hand whenever you proliferate. So this could actually be perfect. So that's from doing a few just keyword searches. That seems to be one of the synergies we've got. But I'm also very impressed with Serum Core Chimera. So this would be blue-red. You get an oil counter on this every time you cast a non-creature spell. You basically remove 3 oil counters, draw a card, discard a non-land card, and you can deal 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So potentially this is very good. You're turning any of your cards into a strangle, basically. but you need non-creature spells. I think it's quite hard to make a spells deck in Limited, especially in sealed deck. It's quite hard to get that to come together. But that's a very powerful uncommon. But all of these, the uncommons tend to be pretty interesting. This gives double strike, so you get a 2/2 double strike when you play this, which is quite good. But I do really like Slaughter Singer, so every creature with toxic that attacks will get +1/+1. So imagine every Phyrexian Might becoming a 2/2. That could be quite powerful. So that's sort of my initial survey of like various keywords and things, right? But I think I've decided I will go through all the colours one by one. We'll see all the cards, and I usually talk about the BRED acronym: bombs, removal, evasion, aggro, and dross. So I tend to just pick lots of cards that fill those categories and put them over here. I think today I might just look at bombs, removal, and maybe evasion. We're not going to worry about aggro and dross too much. So for example, Crawling Chorus, that's a good aggro card, but it doesn't have evasion, so we'll just leave that there for the moment. You could argue that this Zealot's Conviction, it's a it's in my, I'd put it in the, it's not a removal card, right? It's a combat trick. It's in the combat trick category, so it doesn't count as removal. But you can use this, can kind of upgrade this to removal if you can actually block and win a fight because of it. Especially if you can get corrupted, this will give +2/+1 and first strike. Then that's pretty good. It's actually getting somewhere, but yeah, I don't think we include that. This has evasion, I think, so we are interested in that. Veil of Assimilation, so this is for the artifact deck. There's a blue-white artifact synergy deck you can make. I did search for that keyword as well. I'm not quite sure there's enough support for it, but this is certainly one of the key cards, so you can bump up creatures and give them vigilance. But yeah, it really, this is either a completely useless card or potentially quite useful. Okay, now this is so Charge of the Mites. This is a removal spell because it can deal damage equal to the number of creatures you control. So we are impressed by that one. Okay, skip him. That's a removal spell. Potentially it's costing 6 mana to target a creature. But there are some non-land permanents that are important. I think we still care about that, even though it's potentially expensive to kill a creature. Against all odds. So that's right, one or both. You can exile and return something you control. Get another enter the board thing. I should include these Flensing Raptors. These have got flying. And I'm just thinking because that's got enter the board as well. So yeah, you exile and then it returns immediately. You can choose both of these as well. Then you can return artifact or creature card with mana value 3 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. It does cost 4 mana and it is sorcery speed, which is a bit of a drawback, but yeah. So it's a little harder to evaluate how good this is, but if you have a deck full of enter the board abilities, this could give you two extra enter the board abilities, one from the graveyard and one from something in play. But I think we leave it out because it's kind of dependent on other cards to be good. we think about that later. Hexgold Hoverwings is actually, that's going to be a 3/2 flyer for 4 mana, which maybe that's okay. Let's think about that one. Orthodoxy Enforcer. So this is a payoff for the artifacts deck. This is why I was looking. This is one of the reasons I was looking at artifacts, but for a bit longer, because a 4/4 vigilance for 4 seems not too bad. Maybe having 3 of these is a good enough reason to play artifacts. But strictly speaking, it doesn't have evasion. Vigilance is quite useful. It's sort of it's a useful sort of defensive ability. You can attack and block the same creatures, so that's sort of interesting. We might come back to that. Basilica Shepherd has evasion and makes 2 extra creatures. It just seems pretty great. And Apostle of Invasion has flying, and it can get double strike, which is quite interesting. 4/4 flyer for 6, probably playable. So this is just, so we're just looking at bombs, removal and evasion. We found 8 cards in white, so maybe white's pretty strong, and we've got, when we make our choice, we've got some filler cards we can bring in. Crawling Chorus would come in, maybe against all odds. Maybe the Orthodoxy Enforcers, depending on how many artifacts we got. So there's only 2 artifacts amongst this selection. So, but you got to remember, all of the Phyrexian Mites are artifact creatures, so that will make an artifact. That can make artifacts as well. So it's more like 4 artifacts in 8 cards. We'll go on to the blue cards. Right. Glistening Seer, you can tap and scry. It's quite good. The Surgical Skull Bomb, this is a bit like a removal card. And it's a cantrip, so I think that's definitely good. This is quite good, Prologue for Pheresis, just giving someone a poison counter. Especially when you're doing lots of proliferating, this is quite good. But I think we come back to this later. Chrome Prowler is quite exciting. It's got flash, it's an artifact, you can tap something down. So I think that's pretty good. That's sort of, it's pseudo removal. It's what blue does, it can tap things down. Mesmerizing Dose is removal. We managed to get 2 of those as well, and it proliferates, so that's really good. This is the Make Everything an Artifact card, which we might play if we're playing the artifacts deck, but otherwise it's pretty useless. Meldweb Curator. Interesting, yeah. It brings an instant or sorcery from the graveyard to the top of your library. Might be good. We could recycle Vanish into Eternity, for example. That would be nice. So I think I'm probably also including cards that give you card advantage. Takuthal is obviously pretty fantastic, so if you proliferate twice instead. So that's just a bomb. Obviously it's got flying as well, so this guy's an artifact creature. So this goes with the artifact deck, but we won't consider it just yet. This has got flying, the Quicksilver Fisher, so that's quite good. Sorcery speed card draw. Draw 3 and proliferate. So skip that. This has got flying and toxic, so Voidwing Hybrid makes the cut, and Serum Core Chimera. So these are quite key cards for their respective decks. Then we look at black. We have Blight Belly Rat. So we're probably going to be playing this guy, but he doesn't have evasion. Fleshless Gladiator comes back from the graveyard for 3 mana and 1 life if your opponent is corrupted. So otherwise, it is a Grizzly Bear. It's 2/2 for 2 mana, so it's just, Grizzly Bear with upside. It's pretty good. This has got flying, so I think we include that one. This thing is a sacrifice outlet that can draw you cards. It looks like it doesn't say sorcery speed, it's at instant speed, but you can only do it once per turn. So it's actually a pretty good response to removal. You can sacrifice in response and get a card. So that's quite good. This is another sacrifice outlet. And another artifact creature as well. That emergence. This is just the standard 5 mana reanimation spell, but it also throws in a proliferate. And Cruel Grimnarch. Yeah, it makes your opponent discard, and if they can't, you gain 4 life. It's quite good. It's just a big creature, but so really black. What's missing from black? No removal cards at all. So this is what doing this makes you realize what's missing from certain colors. Because I thought black was good, because I thought, yeah, 3 Blight Belly Rats. That's fantastic. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, it might not be playable without removal. Now we look at red. The Scamp. So if it gets through with damage, you can sacrifice it and fling it at somebody. It's good if you have a way of pumping its power up. So it can act like a removal spell, but it doesn't have any evasion to actually help it get through. You've got to provide the evasion and provide the pumping. You've got to do a lot of work to make this guy do something. Free from Flash is our pump spell. So this is a combat trick. I think it's quite good in certain circumstances. This is really cool on Serum Core Chimera, because it's obviously giving 2 oil counters. So and it's a non-creature spell, so this gives 3 oil counters to the Chimera straight away, and then you can turn something in your hand into, well, a non-land card into a strangle, basically. Gleeful Demolition. This is very interesting. You can, for 1 red, destroy target artifact. If you control it, you can make 3 1/1 goblins. So usually you have to pay about 4 mana or 3 mana to get 2 1/1 goblins. So if you just throw in a free artifact, it's an army you get, really. And I've got 2 of those, so if I can figure out a way of making cheap artifacts, that could be good. But then I think once you've got a big army, you want to pump the team. I suppose we've got Incisor Glider for that. But if you're playing red, you're not really poisoning people that much, so it's quite interesting, and it's a it's a non-creature spell to go with the Chimera. Sawblade Scamp. Basically, yeah, it's a 1/1 for 1 that gets all counters and can just. It's got pseudo evasion, right? It can ping your opponent for 1 damage every time you make a non-creature spell. I think that, yeah, I'd call that direct damage is basically evasion. So maybe that pushes that into consideration. We've got the Shrapnel Slinger. So this is interesting. You can sacrifice a creature to destroy target artifact. So it's a removal spell if they've got artifacts. I think maybe that's quite good. There's a few, seem to be a few artifacts flying around, so maybe that is good. Maybe that's a removal spell. Oh yeah, the Bladegraft Aspirant. 2/3 menace for 3. Equipment spells cost 1 less. Quite good for the equipment deck. Urabrask's Forge is kind of a bomb. You get this disposable creature every turn. So I think we include that one. Hazardous Blast. 1 damage to each creature opponent's control. Creature your opponent control can't block this turn. So usually you don't care about 1 damage. Removal kind of starts at 2 damage. That's when it's interesting. But because there are mites that people make and goblins with 1 toughness, I think this is good. And it's only hitting your opponent's creatures, and it's also it stops your opponent's creatures blocking. So this could definitely be huge. We're interested in that. Right. So this is just basically a 4/2 creature. Furnace Strider can give haste. In fact, it can give itself haste. 4/5 haste. There's an argument that haste is a form of evasion because it means your larger creature you've played this turn can attack before your opponent is ready to deal with it. Then it gives something else haste as well. But it does cost 5. Maybe it's worth considering. I think. Well, no, we'll come back to this one. Molten Rebuke is just the 5 mana removal spell. Deals 5 damage. So yes, that's good. And then the Capricious Hellraiser. Yeah, we looked at this earlier. So this is the 4/4 flyer. Casts a non-creature, non-land card from the graveyard for free. If you hit one, you get you exile 3 cards at random. I guess it's a little bit like a one-off. Yeah, I forget the name of the 6 mana enchantment. I'm sure you know which one I mean. Casting stuff from the graveyard. That's a good end to the board effect, though. Yeah, so you lose 3 things. And if we remember our thing that exiles in white, which I don't think I've included, that can obviously double up on against all odds. We could exile this to get another end to the board effect. Which could be quite good. Yeah, it'd be good to hit a Vanish into Eternity as well. Alright, Bladehold War Whip. That's pretty good. I mean, you're getting a 2/2 double strike. Oh yeah, arguably double strike is it's a form of evasion. It means you're makes you difficult to block profitably. And here are the unforgiving. Can do discard and draw. You can make token copies of your creatures or equipment cards. Yeah, it's pretty good. Right, so we have green. Rustvine Cultivator is pretty good. We've managed to find 2 of them, and they can basically ramp things out. But it's just they won't make any mana until turn 3 if you play them on turn 1. They've got to make the old counter on turn 2, and then turn 3 they can untap something. But we won't consider that just yet. Thirsting Roots, that's good. That's another good one. Can find you a basic land. It's like, or proliferate. So the Cankerbloom is basically a removal spell. I think we consider this one. Reach is quite good, so I think anything with reach is pretty good. And stopping a flyer is pretty important usually. And this is the removal card, Ruthless Predation. Contagious Vorrac gives us card advantage. It finds a land in the top 4. So, and it's a 3/3 for 3. So I think this is a good card advantage card. I think we consider this one. Maze's Mantle is not very good. It's a 3 mana combat trick. Oil Gorger Troll. It should be pretty easy to draw a card off this guy. So yeah, that's card advantage. And the Tyrranax Atrocity, we managed to get 3 of these, which is interesting. So this is another potential deck, just having Tyrranax ramp basically. We've got a couple of the cultivators. We could play a couple of these Phyrexian Atlases as well, so we can get this out on turn 4. Which might be pretty good. This might be a case where haste is it's like an evasion ability. So I think it's worth considering these. This guy's got reach, so we like this as well. Tyvar stand. Target creature gets +X/+X, hexproof and indestructible. Yeah. So just for 1 green, hexproof and indestructible is pretty cool. And then it can be a removal. It can be just a win condition. Yeah, that seems good. That's definitely what a good combat trick looks like. And the Slaughter Singer is very good. Yeah, you definitely want to pump all of your toxic creatures because a lot of them are 1/1 and 2/2. So yeah, that's good. Mycosynth Gardens can become a copy of an artifact. That's very good. Dune Movers, yeah, this is quite good. Can mana fix, find a land if you really need a land. If you've got that the usual thing of being stuck on 2 land, this can help. So I think, yeah, these kind of mana fixing things, I think maybe these definitely come into consideration as well. For that matter, we'll grab the Thirsting Roots as well. Atraxus Skitterfang is very interesting. So I ran into this today playing the Phantom Sealed. The guy had two of these. So it can give Flying, Vigilance, Death Touch, or Lifelink till end of turn for 1 oil counter, and it starts with 3 oil counters. So 3 turns of flying could be good. Lifelink on one of your big creatures could be awesome. So that just seems incredibly good value. The Atlas is just a ramp card. The Kinsmith does not have any other. We do not have any other Mere cards to find, unfortunately. So he's just a 3/1 for 4. And the Rib Skiff. Oh yeah, this draws a card when it comes into play. Okay, so that's good. That's definitely good. 4/4 with Crew 3. It's got Toxic 2 as well. I'm just gonna do this. I don't think we missed it. Oh yeah, we did. We do have all of these lands. So these are just really just an upgrade on the basic lands. Right, so we've tried to sort of look at bombs, removal, evasion. I've kind of altered that as we've gone along, so these mana fixing land finding cards that are cheap are very good. They definitely make your deck a lot more consistent, I think. So yeah, we only found 2 black cards, which is quite interesting, but 11 white and 12 green. It's quite impressive. So that's a possibility. We were thinking about a blue-red deck. We were thinking about a black-blue deck, but yeah, the black color does not have the removal we would hope for, I think. So yeah, I mean green's got more removal than black in this selection. So because we have a removal spell, we've got Ruthless Predation and Cankerbloom. Yeah. So what do we do first? Well, let's cut the black. Let's forget about Voidwing Hybrid. As good as it is, maybe we're not doing the proliferate strategy. Now we've only got 6 blue cards. So we'll have a look at blue and see what else we were missing out on. Because we've got the prologue to Phoresis. Oh, that's right. We've got the blue bomb, the Tekuthal. Yeah, we do have 2 mesmerizing dose. That seems quite good. Yeah, I've got to ask ourselves if we can play blue-red. So you need 23 cards for a deck, so right away, green-white, even without the filler cards, we found 23 things we want to play. Blue-red is up to 16, so we need 7 cards. We do have 4 artifacts, so you need to find 3 more cards. And I think we would play just some more spells. So Prologue to Phoresis and Free from Flesh would work. I don't know if we go for the expensive card draw card. That seems risky. So yeah, red does have Capricious Hellraiser. Okay, I think I'll call it end of part 2 there. I have a few things to think about. But it looks like maybe there's not enough support for a blue-red spell stack. I always kind of hope I can make it work, and the times I've tried it in different limited environments, it tends to fail. You just don't have enough support for it. So hard to drop Tekufal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's call it that. So end of part 2. Thanks for watching so far. And we're back. So I've put together a green-white deck. Decided blue-red spells that maybe weren't enough good spells to justify that deck. We saw the problem with the black-blue deck. Black didn't have any removal cards. And I think it's just this seems to be the best deck available. So it's got the most toxic cards. So we can go for a green-white toxic strategy here. Probably the things I've left out are it's easier to look at. So I did have Oil Gorger Troll for a while, because potentially this is just replacing itself. It's drawing a card. But I've only got 2 oil cards. I've got the 2 Rustvine Cultivators. So, and we're quite heavy on 5 drops, because we've got 3 Tyrranax Atrocities and a Basilica Shepherd. So this got cut. I've also cut a couple of long legs, which I usually like reach creatures. A lot of games are decided just by that small flyer you can't stop. But something had to be cut. I do have Incisor Glider as a 2 mana flying thing. I've got, I suppose later I've got Basilica Shepherd, Apostle of Invasion, and Skyscythe Engulfer. They've all got flying or reach to stop flyers. Oh yeah, and I've got 2 Flensing Raptors as well. So maybe I'm okay for flyers. I don't need a couple long legs. Yeah, that's my reasoning there. There's also this Hex Gold Hoverwings. This is another flyer. This is basically a 3/2 for 4 mana, and it's good, but it's just because it doesn't fit in with the toxic theme of the deck. It doesn't have toxic. It doesn't have proliferate either. So it feels like I can cut it, really. Yeah. So we're not playing any of the rares, I believe. If we just look at the rares and mythics. Okay, we have a missing rare. So maybe we are playing something. Yes, the Mycosynth Gardens. It can copy an artifact. I just have to think, do I have any artifacts? I do have 4 artifacts in the deck. I can copy the Rib Skiff, Atraxa Skitterfang, Dune Mover, and Incisor Glider. So yeah, that's still pretty good. But yeah, we couldn't play blue-red really. I couldn't justify it from the cards I had, but yeah, I don't think you should play a color combination just because it's got some rares. This is definitely good, but this is dubious. This is definitely good. This is maybe dubious, but yeah, 4/4 flyers are pretty good and limited. But yeah, you're probably not going to get to cast anything from its ability, or it's going to be anything relevant. It's going to be tricky. because of that randomization in there. Yeah, so I think, yeah, let's look at the mana curve here. So we've got a lot of 1-drops. So we're pretty good early on, I think. Usually you go for 2 1-drops, 7 2-drops, 6 3-drops. So I think we've got a reasonable early game, and then we've got a couple of those ramp cards to get us into our late game creatures. And of course we're best of 3. But I'm just going to get straight into it. I'm not going to worry about my my sideboard options. I'm confident. But well, we can always. There is the fungus guy who kills artifacts and enchantments. So if my opponent doesn't have very many targets, we could always cut him for another creature. Okay, so a little issue here. We've only got 2 lands. We can play a Rustvine Cultivator turn 2 with help from the Mycosynth Gardens. So this is awkward, but playable. We would really like to draw another land. We have a 1-drop on turn 1, so that's nice. Okay, oh, there's a forest. Well, we're lucky. Very lucky. I could Ruthless Predation that. That seems like a waste of a removal spell, to be honest with you. That's fair. Okay, Cultivator. Rat. Okay. There's the Vanish into Eternity. So this is a slightly dodgy removal spell, which it's 6 mana to take out a creature. We hope he has a useful non-creature spell we can get rid of. Now we're gonna. Do we want to? No, we're gonna play this. We're gonna find a. I hope we find a land. Yes. Okay. Double white, double green. I think double green is just slightly more important. This taps. That's instant speed. So no attacks and end turn. So he's gone for the white-black aggro deck. Terramorphic Expanse. Okay. Right, nice. Okay, that's the one that gives something flying and pumps it by +2/+2. Let's remember to tap this to make an oil counter. Very important. And for 4 mana we can play a Ribskiff this turn. And we could play the tap land and untap it and play a Ribskiff. That might be a good move. Do we want to do Ruthless Predation? Do we want to Vanish into Eternity this thing? I'll just sacrifice it in response. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy. I'm going to swing in with the Vorrac. What leaves me open is, so that's crew 3. So we are vulnerable this turn. We could get 2 poison counters. Okay, I'm going to not worry about it. I'm just going to untap that. Play the Rib Skiff. Cool, that's a very good card to draw. So I guess we'll see now if he's splashing a 3rd colour. Doesn't look like it. Okay, that's going to draw a card. He doesn't need to use it for evasion. So he can get through for 2 poison this turn. Okay, just 1 poison. He's going to keep that on defense. So my Skitterfang. Let's see. Okay, right, yeah. Maybe we want to. Yeah, let's play the Skitterfang. Right, so. Okay, let's. Got an idea, right? But this might be a terrible idea. He's untapped, isn't he? So yeah, let's crew the Rib Skiff with the Vorrac. Or should we do it with these 2? See, I'm very indecisive. And combat. Yes. Target this creature and give it flying, please. We'll keep the Vorrac back for defense. So I'm going to get poison. So I'm up to 2. And end the turn there. It's a 4/4. And I'm up to 3 poison now. That's proliferating me. Okay. Okay, we have Tyrranax Atrocity. And we can Vanish into Eternity the Scrap Trap. Or possibly even better, we can Ruthless Predation it. But is that better? Yeah, because it's better because he's tapped out. So, Vorrac. Take out the Scrap Trap, please. And I will go to 4 poison. Right. We've got to accrue this. Let's just crew with the Vorrac. Overthinking it. And then we've got to go to combat. Let's decline that. Oh god, no. next to attackers. Right, attack, attack. Keep the others on defense. Okay. Yeah, feel like I'm taking too long, but I think learning new cards and a new set does take a bit of time. Just I feel very awkward in everything I'm choosing to do. Right, so my sideboard decision here is Copper Longlegs against cheap flyers, Maze's Mantle to protect my toxic creatures if he's got lots of removal. Would make sense. That would be another flyer I could throw in, but I feel alright. It's a 3-land hand. We've got 2 of our tap lands, however. So, tricky. Do we want Rustvine Cultivator turn 1? Oh man, this is tricky. So, and then we won't be able to do anything turn 2 unless we draw an untapped thingy. Turn 3, however. Well, yeah, let's keep it. Hopefully we'll draw another untapped source. And I think we just go with the 1 drop. That's another untapped source. Perfect. Okay. Go with the 1 drop. There's the rat. Okay. Plains and a Slaughter Singer, which is going to probably get blown up. Let's go with the Incisor Glider just as a blocker to hopefully soak up his first removal spell. Now I could double block to try and kill it, but I'm gonna just single block. See if he's got a combat trick. Oh, counter, that can get indestructible once. Okay, nice. Okay, so I think it is Tapland, Slaughter Singer, and then Tyrranax Atrocity next turn. We're going to use this as a blocker again, so we're not going to just get in for 1 damage. I don't think there's much point. I think we just take the damage from the Bladed Ambassador. Oh goodness, Battle Cry. Beginning of combat on your turn, the next time target creature will deal combat damage to 1 or more players. This combat prevent that damage for the damage prevented. Create that many 1/1 colours Phyrexian Mites. That's absolutely horrendous, because of course he's going to use that on Bladed Ambassador. So I have to block the Bladed Ambassador now. Do I trade my Slaughter Singer for a Blight Belly Rat? Yep. Wait, it costs 1 mana. It costs 1 mana. Haha! He didn't attack a Blight Belly Rat, thank goodness. So you can't tap anything for mana. I will trade the Glider. Okay. Over to my turn. Right. Vanish into Eternity. I can get to 5 mana. Right, but we want an untapped land. See if this can automatically cast Tyrranax Atrocity. Okay, let's try tapping that for green, and then okay, let's try again. Green. Untap target land, please. Tyrranax Atrocity. So this will be a 5/5. He can still double block and kill it. But I'm okay with that. Good. Chomp blocked. I was worried he's going to attack with that rat, and I'd have to either trade off or face 2 Phyrexian mites. Two, 3. Beginning of combat, target creature gets +1/+1. +2/+2 if it has toxic. Oh, of course, he can target himself, and he can make a huge number of mites. Good point. Good point. So I could just chump block here. Do I want to face 4 mites? I'm going to say no, I don't want to face 4 mites, so I'm going to chump block as well. It's a good card, but 4 mites. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be fun for me. So we can untap and get 5 mana, which is not quite enough for either of these. We'll put Tyrranax Atrocity on defense. Play another Rustvine Cultivator. We could use this as a chump blocker, of course. And we could swing with it. Yeah, we could use this as a chump blocker and swing with the Atrocity. Because we want to get 3 toxic, so he's corrupted. See if he can get to 3/4, right? End the turn. I wonder if he knows if I've got a couple of powerful 6-drops in my hand, because if I chump block with this and he used removal on this guy, it would feel quite bad. Assuming I don't draw an untapped land. Now, which one does he target? He's going to target that one. That is the one we have to block. Okay, he's got a 3/2 flyer. That is something we can blow up at instant speed as well, if we wanted. Got to remember to make an oil counter. And go to my turn. So, let's tap a land. Fingers crossed there is not a 1 mana protection spell. And we'll just knock out Evor. Like that. Attack with this guy. Okay, what's this do? Brings a creature card from the graveyard back, but we exiled that. So Blightbelly Rat, Bladed Ambassador. Bladed Ambassador's going to be quite a good blocker. Okay, well we've hit 6 mana, so we can play out Apostle of Invasion. I think that's a pretty good one. Right, so he could double block here and kill this guy. Yeah, trading for Porcelain Zealot. How good is that? So I think we just have to accept the fact we're going to probably trade off with Porcelain Zealot. And that's fine. Because we've got an Apostle of Invasion now. Okay, that gets equip. Right. So he can get indestructible, so the double strike won't matter. Remember to tap this one. We're going to Rib Skiff, that will draw us a card. Cankerbloom's quite good. Have I not played a forest? Then that's very good. So we'll play the forest, Cankerbloom, and blow up his equipment. Yeah. Well, we'll get through for 8 damage, so he'd still have another turn. Okay, I'm pleased with how that worked. That's quite effective. I think it was necessary to block, chump block. Okay, giving him sort of 3 or 4 Phyrexian Mites would be terrifying. And I wanted to get through with my Tyrranax to get 3 Toxic. So it was an interesting exchange of sort of chump blocking that went on. We're lucky we get to play first again. Okay, so not so good. 2 forests. Can't cast anything. Well, we can cast this, but you don't have a target. And we've got sort of 3 top-end-ish kind of cards. I think we have to mulligan this one. Okay, this is better. We've got both colours and we've got Thirsting Roots to find the third land. Dune Mover to find a land. Yeah, this is good. This is very good. Okay, keep 6, but what do we get rid of? If anything, we've got too many 2-drops. This would be great if he's got artifacts and enchantments. Because I like this a lot. This is going to be good on turn 3. Incisor Glider. This is better when it's later on, when we've got corrupted. This goes back. And we play this. And we'll Thirsting Roots for a forest, I believe. Ooh, you got the rare land. Okay, fair enough. Let's play the plains. The most aggressive thing is Cankerbloom. So I don't think we need to look for another land. Particularly. Do that later. So play this guy. And give him flying. Or lifelink. Let's get through with some damage. Oh, now that's interesting. We need to hit a 6th land for this. So that's, I think we should try and do that. That is sorcery speed, isn't it? Okay, well let's yes. Target yourself and get flying. Play Dune Mover and a controversial move. We're going to put a basic land on top. Tell you what, this is another creature with oil counters that I forgot to think about with the right, well, yeah, you're getting through, I guess, or I could double block you, which would be risky. That's I'm gonna get 2 poison counters. Yeah, let's go for flying. Get that first poison counter down. Might be important. Don't feel like I got the most out of these oil counters, but we did something. And he's 3 colours. Okay. Oh, well. Yep, 2 matches in a row. We're going to run into this thing. Okay, fair enough. And he's going to get 2 of those. Right, Ribskiff draws us a card. We've got a nice blocker here, which is probably going to die immediately. And we keep these back for blocking, because we are losing now. No lighting glare, yeah. They could have paid, so he's probably got something else to cast. Yeah, there we are. Oh, something's getting +2/+2 in Vigilance. That's incredibly bad for me. Target himself or his buddy? His buddy is targeted. Okay. It's pumped to 3 as well. Why is that? Why is it pumped to 3? Why is he getting +1 this turn? I need to figure this out. Well, we could trade 2 creatures for this. We could trade that for that. It's a terrible situation. The Ribskiff needs 3 crew, so it's pretty useless. I think we're just probably dead, but let's take out the annoying evasion creature if we possibly can. It'll stop him getting a million mites. And I'm really not sure how he was getting +1 power to all of his creatures there. Okay, so we've got to hope we draw something really good with the Ribskiff. It's a creature that we can play, so that's not the worst. Oh, Battle Cry is a new mechanic, so each other attacking creature gets +1 until end of turn. Didn't read that before. Didn't read it last time. So this might trades off with a Cultivator, which is terrible. Okay, so that's 2/1. No blocks. Take a chunk of damage, get a million mites. Beautiful. Okay, Slaughter Singer. Yeah, okay. And they've still got enough for a decent Tyvar stand, I think. Yeah, so by taking this... Yeah, we can't take that guy out, so we won't even worry about that. Okay. Solve the battle cry. So these... I mean, these things... that looks like that's 4. They're going to kill me. That's unfortunate. Yeah, so anyway, we, I think, concede there. Oh no, let's pass the blockers. That should block there. That should block there. And then they get through with 8 damage and I lose. shouldn't reveal that I've got Tyvar's stand, so because we're in a best of 3 here, and I've already taken probably too much time on a pretty hopeless game. Okay, we look at white, green, and artifact cards, and we just have a little think here. He's got removal, so Maze's Mantle might be good. Do we want to play that? Do I want to start playing Oil Gorger Troll as well? Okay, I'm going to try playing the Maze's Mantle just to try and counter his removal. The Rib Skiff feels bad at this point, when we're just losing a lot of creatures and stuff. Cankerbloom. It does draw us a card, but yeah, it's feels like a liability. Maybe it's great, but it feels like a liability. I'll drop it. Right, we'll play first. And we got an awful hand with 1 land. It's a mulligan. Very simple. Okay, that's better. Right, this can find us land number 4. We want to keep the 3 land, I think. We could drop the Incisor Glider. That's what that's my thinking. That's going to be better later. There's a very good chance we can get this out on turn 5. So, that seems to be a good plan. That means we... Yeah, our first blocker isn't that early on. Oh, he's gone... yeah. I guess it's it now. It was black, green, white, wasn't it? Okay. Well, this, with any luck, gets us land number 5. Whew. Did. And it did not get us a second forest. That's the problem. We do not have 2 forests. We still need a forest. Okay, there is a second forest. That's fantastic. Okay. Very good indeed. We could Flensing Raptor and attack for 4. Oh, and yes, it's only for a toxic creature. Silly me. Yeah, let's leave this on defense. Okay. Yeah, Tyrranax Atrocity it is. Swing with everything. Now we'll hit 6 mana next turn. We can cast Vanish into Eternity on a creature if we need to. Oh, Tyvar stand, beautiful. Okay. Nice combat trick. Run. Breaker of of silence, and this is the guy you can't do anything about. As long as it's your turn, he's indestructible. Can't be the target of non-green sources your opponent controls. Very interesting. Right. So he's got 2 really good rares. You've seen a... This is a green spell, though. We've got to do Maze's Mantle and Ruthless Predation, and then we can take down Thrum, right? We'll get to 5, we'll get to 7 toughness. Okay. Or, no, we can't do Vanish into Eternity, because it's not a non-green. Okay, right. Maze's Mantle on Vorrac. Well, I'm glad I held the Ruthless Predation. That's quite satisfying. And then we'll swing in. Okay, yeah, just that dies. Fair enough. Yeah, we're not getting much here. I don't want to take out his long legs, particularly. But he's down to 2 cards. I mean, he might top deck another rare. We know he's got the black-white rare. He may have dropped it from the deck. Okay, well, we decided it's a race now, so we're going to just knock that out. We win in 6 turns. Braska's 4. Okay, you got a removal spell. Fair enough. Yet another removal. Not bad. Bomb creature and 2 removal spells. And another rare bomb creature. That'll do nicely. 5/5 for all counters. Has trample as long as it has 2 or fewer all counters on it. Otherwise it has hexproof. It loses an oil every upkeep. Then when it runs out, oh, you sacrifice it. If I'm still alive by then. So even if I'd held that removal spell, it has hexproof. The first couple of turns. Now let's see how much time I got through. So yeah, he's on 23 minutes. I'm on 18 minutes. I spent 5 more. Oh, he has another removal spell. Wow. Lucky old him. Oh, that's quite a good card. Am I dead next turn, though? This gets trampled, doesn't it? I mean, these things might as well attack. And then this guy will have to chomp block because it's 7 damage. This now has trample, so that's going to be 5 damage going through. We could trade with a fleshless gladiator. Would that be a good idea? Would that be a better idea than just stopping 2 damage from this? Yes, of course it would. Then we need to top deck a chump blocker. And it would need more than 2 toughness. In fact, it would need 4 toughness. Oh well. So, what did we lose to this game? Thrun and 3 removal spells. So, yeah, he had a nice combat trick as well. And an evolved Spinoderm. I'm going to call that a pretty strong run out of cards. I'm amazed we managed to deal with Thrun, but imagine getting 2 green rares that both have basically hexproof. Well, you know, 80% hexproof on Thrun. Okay. Not going to change anything, just go straight on to the next one. Okay, check everything's working, yeah. And the black-white rare in game 1 as well was pretty crushing. So this, well, we'll see how it goes in this match. But we're 1-1. Next match loss, and we're out. It's a 2-lander. We've got a couple of 2-drops. Opponent goes first. We're getting an extra draw. So I think I keep a 2-lander when it's both. I've got both my colours and I'm on the draw. Nice, and we top deck another land. So panic over. It is, funnily enough, a black-white deck. It's pretty popular. So we can play a blocker for that. We'll block it and assume he's got some kind of combat trick. Yeah, okay, complete devotion. This is one where you draw if it's that creature has toxic. Okay, I think we'll just play a Flensing Raptor and try and block. See if we can run him out of combat tricks. Necrosquito doesn't attack. Okay. We definitely want to top deck a land, so we're going to play the Dune Mover. Lands, I think. So, do we want to kill this if it attacks, because that will become a 3/3. probably just have to let it through. Charge of the lights, and that's dead. Okay. So don't you need to worry about it. So he's got 2 flyers that I can't really do anything about. I can play this and swing in with lifelink. If he's maybe a bit short on toxic creatures, if he's just... because it's quite a job to take me out just with the Cypher now. Might have that 1 black removal spell. He does. Of course he does. Why would he not have that? Well, it's getting through the removal. We've had the combat trick, we've had the 2 removal cards. He's got 4 cards left though. He has... yeah. That was the... and that is going to pump his entire team whenever he attacks. That's not good. Okay, well, we got the Cankerbloom. That can take out the Incisor Glider, which is going to pump his team. So it's going to be 4 extra damage when he swings in. Skitterfang could just block a Blight Belly Rat, or it could swing in with lifelink. That's one little issue, but swing with lifelink and gain 2, or do we just block a Blight Belly Rat? Because he'll get 2 poison. He will be able to proliferate when this dies and pump that to 5/5. Which is not ideal. 6/6. Oh well. I guess we got a flying chomp blocker. He's got another Incisor Glider. Nice. This does not do much now. We're a bit late on our lands. Oh, he had another removal card. So just the 1, 2, 3, 4 shot. Right. Well, that was fun. Look at artifacts. So, reach. We need the copper long legs in this one. Do we drop an Atrax's Skitterfang? Do we drop a Rib Skiff? Does seem like quite a good thing. Well, it's good on the attack, I would say. Cankerbloom was quite useful for blowing up his Incisor Glider, so I think we have to keep that. I think maybe we just drop something like a Crawling Chorus. And just keep it pretty simple. We could just, yeah, we had another flyer we could have added. But yeah, I don't know. We just need to draw our removal if they've got an out of control flyer. And, you know, draw the lands. So, 2-lander doesn't look great, but we will just rely on drawing extra lands. At least we have copper long legs. I don't know how long that will last. No, if he kills it right now. Okay, no land. No attacks. I could... No attacks. End turn. Pestilence Siphoner, okay. Okay, my turn. Well, we got another flying blocker, that's cool. Well, it's better than nothing. It's a mana elf that works in 2 turns' time. So I think we'll just be patient. No guarantee we'll draw any land in 2 turns. So yeah. Oh great, what the hell is this? Drivnod, Carnage Dominus. It only has 3 toughness, but it's too much toughness for Ruthless Predation to deal with. Wouldn't you know it? Right, if a creature dying causes a triggered ability, if only you control to trigger that ability triggers an additional time. Oh right, Phyrexian mana. 2 Phyrexian mana, in other words. Exile 3 creatures from cards from graveyard, put an indestructible counter. So he's not indestructible yet, it's just really awkward trying to kill this guy. Hopefully we can Tyvar stand him. And not be met with instant speed removal, which would be amazing. Does he have trample? Okay, that is... Does that draw 2 cards? No. Triggers... Yeah, it's if a creature dies. That's definitely an ability. I think we need the Rustvine Cultivator. Light Belly Rat is coming in. Just take a casual 8 and double block the rat. just in case he's got the instant speed removal. So I've got full mana next turn. Right, do we just take a really big risk and just try and kill this with Tyvar's stand? Okay, 2 point Tyvar stand on the glider. Have we made a huge mistake? Yeah, the trouble is I'm going through all my timeouts, overthinking this. I think it's a good game because it's just paused. He has an instant response. Let's put old counter on that. Still, we don't take 8 damage, which is nice. We don't get to play our big creatures because we can't seem to draw mana. We can play a Ribskiff and draw a card. Guess we'll take... try and draw into a land. Drew into a land. Something has to just probably chump block this turn. Okay, no attacks. We took a risk, and as usual we were punished. I think that's about the size of it. But horrible situation, just missing land drops and having to deal with something horrendous. We know he's got the... okay, attacks with everything, right. So, 10 damage between these two. I think I'd take out the 1/1s. Hope for the best. This might be the lowest risk strategy. We go to half health, we get a poison counter. Could be worse. Okay. He has... oh, wait a minute. Let's be careful here. Okay, he has 2 creatures in his graveyard now. He needs 3 creatures to make that indestructible. We need 2 mana for that. So I'm thinking Ribskiff does a bit, gets crude, does a bit of Ruthless Predation. And it's very high risk here because we know he's got instant speed removal things. But we can't really take another 10 damage. And I don't really want to chuck chump blockers at him. Yeah, it's actually just all or nothing, really, isn't it? If I go for this. Okay, we'll take a shot. Oh yeah, and it dies as well. Which isn't ideal. Let's see if he just reanimates it straight away. I wouldn't be surprised. I didn't even look at this. He's got a Mirex. This makes colorless mice. I was just thinking. would be funny if that just brings something back from the graveyard, but there you go. So, down to 7 life, up to 3 poison counters. So, corrupted now. Bone Picker Scourge, that's got Death Touch now, okay. Fair enough. So obviously it just trades with a Tyrranax Atrocity. We don't really want to do that. The Raptor does... We don't have anything else with Toxic. But we could... Oh yeah, we're just giving that flying, aren't we? And that's got flying. Yeah. That's about right. Okay, so... Cultivator. And a Flensing Raptor. I'm just going to play as a blocker. And next. And we're running low on time. Okay, we've got 19 minutes left, 23. As usual, we are quite a long way behind. And yeah, he's got the Mirex every turn. That's just going to be quite bad for me. He's got 7 mana. He can he'll have 3 mana left over to do stuff. Even considering that. Oh, this is the best uncommon, isn't it? You get to just destroy target creature. Yeah, of course you do. So he takes out the flyer. What a surprise. That has Death Touch and Lifelink, so I could trade both of these for this thing. Blight Belly Rat. Well, so we could go down to 3 life. We could trade these 2 for a Bone Picker Scourge. Or we could double block the rat. We wouldn't take any poison damage, and we might reveal another combat trick. That's what I'm thinking. Would not be surprised if he's got a trick up his sleeve here. That does proliferate me to 4. Down to 1 card. Let's tap this counter. Untap mana source, very nice. Right, Tyrranax Atrocity. Could attack. Flensing Raptor trades with a Scourge, which is quite good. We've got actually 7 mana, remember that. So we'll have 8 mana next turn. So we could do Tyrranax Atrocity with Flensing Raptor. I think we could do a Skyscythe Engulfer this turn. No, because then we still want to do have to trade 2 for 1 here. Okay, it's not ideal, but we will play a Flensing Raptor. And then we've got 4 mana. So I've got the Vivisection Evangelist problem now. Okay, no attacks, and end the turn. Sure, you got one of those as well, that's fair enough. Double strike. Okay, he's not going to do anything. Fair enough. turn. Okay, Vanish into Eternity. How about taking out the 4/4 double strike? Because that's just 4/4 vigilance. That's kind of annoying. We could do this on his upkeep step. Just thinking about what horrible things he could have. I'm thinking too long again. So we'll do no attacks and end the turn. And then on his upkeep step, take this thing out. Is there a hexproof card in black-white? Ah, you see, this is what I usually do before I do a limited in a new set. I look up all the instants and flashcards. This is why I'm deliberating so long. I'm thinking, do I remember if is that a card? Have I seen that before? No, I just need to have a list of all the instants, and then that should actually help me speed up. We've taken 15 minutes now. We've had half our time. Got to somehow turn this game around and win it, and then win another one in 15 minutes. But I do have 2 big creatures. Okay, sure. You had another removal card for that. Why not? Everything attacks. So no, don't tap. Right, pass the blockers, please. Right, you take him out. You take him out. I think we'll trade. Yeah, we'll do the trade. We'll trade these 2 for the Scourge. We'll take 4 and go down to 1. And hope there isn't some way he just pumps everything up. Oh, he just wins with that. That's the that was the problem. Yeah, we let something through and we die. If we let that through, we die. Was the situation. I forgot about that one. Again, that's another instant speed effect. So I need to revise my instant speed effects, basically. Right, I think, yeah, let's add that to decks. Okay, so the idea was we were going to try and ramp out our 3 Tyrranax Atrocities. To help us do that, we had 2 Rustvine Cultivators. We saw these a few times. To make land drops, we had a Thirsting Roots, we had Dune Mover, and we had Contagious Vorrac. I stopped short of playing Phyrexian Atlas. I thought maybe we had enough. We didn't need this one. But yeah, definitely had some big problems getting to 5 mana. There is a difference in best of 3 compared to best of 1. You don't have the hand-fixing algorithm. So you can get worse opening hands more often, like 1 land hands and things like that. But still, I feel like this should be reasonable. You should most of the time be able to get your Tyrranax Atrocity out turn 5, sometimes turn 4, but it didn't happen. We've got a bit, maybe a few too many large creatures. We've got 6 large creatures here. We tried this Ribskiff vehicle, and because it draws a card, so it seems like it's quite good. We just there's one game I was losing where this was my last creature and everything else I'd had to jump block. So that's when it feels bad. It just can't do anything on its own. That's the old problem with vehicles. Vanish into Eternity. We got mana for this a few times. This was fine. 6 mana for exiling a creature. We exiled a creature with it every time. We never did the cheaper version. The Cankerbloom was useful. We took out someone's Incisor Glider with it, so I think that's a good inclusion. I don't think I managed to pump my team with Incisor Glider. I did pump things up with Slaughter Singer though. The ideal situation is getting both of these and pumping your mites up to 3/3 when they attack. So that was definitely one reason I was playing the deck. That seemed like a good bit of potential. I'm not really having any regrets about the other colours. I think there was the red-blue spells deck, and I don't know. There's a couple of good removal cards in blue. The 2 mesmerizing doses. Red had a Hazardous Blast and Molten Rebuke, so it's not amazing removal. Also Free from Flesh is a decent combat trick, I suppose. And then there's the blue-black Proliferate deck. We've got all these Black Belly Rats. We've got the Voidwing Hybrid that can come back. So it's more of a card advantage set of black cards. There's no removal in black, so I thought, yeah, we can't play black if there's no removal. There's actually more removal in green. We've got Ruthless Predation and Cankerbloom. So, yeah, that was the reasoning there. Yeah, I think, what else could we have done? Yeah, I was thinking about white, blue, and artifacts as well with Orthodoxy Enforcers. 4/4 Vigilance seems quite good. There was another flyer we could have played, Hexgold Hoverwings. That might have helped a bit. We didn't play the Oil Gorger Troll, but it's another 5-drop. It just makes one of our problems was just having trouble playing our 5-drops. We actually used Maze's Mantle once. That was quite good for our to actually take out that hexproof troll thing that doesn't have hexproof to green spells. And yeah, we did have Nahiri. Just didn't really have. I was kind of hoping I had the a lot of white-red equipment cards, but I think we only had 3 or 4. If we look up equip. Yeah, so 1 equipment payoff, another equipment payoff, another equipment payoff that is also an equipment, but we only have literally 3 equipment cards, so yeah, that didn't seem very good. But we got 1 win. 1 and 2, we get 500 gems. It's not the worst. Anyway, I think that is a video. Thanks for watching.